city, we build a city. With faith in the middle, we'll do well. We build a city, we build a city. A little faith in the middle, we will tell.
Are dogs the default family of unaffordable two-bedroom homes in downtown Vancouver? Is Vancouver's low birth rate related to lack of affordable homes? Is Canada's debt from weak leadership? Let's simply start with municipalities' smart permitting for modular laneway housing. The developers at Falls Creek want the city to raise $250 to $300 million for higher taxes just to demolish our viaducts due to a possible earthquake. I would have designed structurally supportive housing between the viaducts. When done right, we could add character and creativity to their project's class. Under the viaducts is a wonderful creative space for artists and specialty retailers to build a new Vancouver community. Try out your clout, compound your power with a subscribe and 3 shares. Hi, I'm Steve from Sampson's, an original Vancouverite, and since the 1980s, a designer and cutter of men's bespoke fit suits. Affordable bespoke fit wardrobes are a first world problem, while affordable homes are Vancouver's shameful third world problem. Sampson's Sweet Homes will match landowners' backyards with coach house buyers. This gives you a garage and a wonderful landscape backyard. With your subscribe, you will regularly see interviews of soon-to-be eligible new neighbors whose proximity could make your life a little nicer. Listen further to add a world-class healthy measure to make Falls Creek successful and something we can all enjoy. I would like to support our Vancouver Viaduct turnaround for local talent, so the project's character complements the class of Concord's developments. Let's send a message to City Hall on affordable homes and shed those nimbly fears. Let's not make perfection the enemy of the good or our beautiful city. Instead of demolishing our viaducts at our tax cost of $250 million, for $60 million, the city could earthquake upgrade. If the city wants smart density, my design idea would to use that $60 million as part of a housing block between the viaducts that supports the viaducts. This would be another tax revenue for our smart density. Landowners as well could benefit better than another park. With heavy-duty steel coils between the condo and the viaduct, any tremor wave amplitude of an earthquake would be significantly reduced. All structures built for a unified, resilient block. We must keep our Dunsmuir inbound traffic for our professionals and executive brain trust. There, for viaduct support, we would build alongside Dunsmuir social housing for artists vetted for their productivity, while Georgia Street Viaduct adding market-priced housing facing the new Garden Aqueduct and Falls Creek. The Parks Board would provide maintenance and late-night security for the peace and pleasure and equity of the residents. If we destruct, the total viaduct depot cost would be $500 million, plus loss of future revenues. Or we could have a world-renowned, public-prompted City Hall legacy. Subscribe and share 3 times if you think Vancouver City Hall could turn these expensive lemons into lemonade. Creating an aqueduct parkway would feature a natural turbulent stream. Studies on quantum coherence add a health interest to all area investors and residents. We would have a landscape architect and engineer design a world-class aqueduct, if not the world's first, with waterfalls and beautiful hanging gardens. These high torrent streams with higher nitrate fertilized gardens will create ionized air and mineralized drinking water from creative fountains. This turbulence creates electron bonds so water can absorb healthy minerals necessary for deep sleep. This can create a profound wellness over time to residents, also adding to False Creek's mystique and property values. I would have a digital display in the parkway releasing current study results. Let's make this beautiful garden as fine as Van Dusen. If you've done imagining, subscribe and share with 3 others and send your love to our City Hall to use our taxes with our health in mind. This raised aqueduct between the mountains and the seawall would add to Vancouver's unique, ever-changing skyline, showcasing the power from hydro and inside renatured water. Just imagine walking the Georgia Aqueduct with spring's sweet cherry blossoms, and again in fall with flaming red, charming golden deciduous trees. This well-trafficked area would mean more gardening jobs, more health-driven tourists, and more happy taxpayers. According to a credible insider, the land between the viaducts is seen as a site for a new stadium because apparently Rogers Stadium is too small for revenues to cover the income demands of top players. The executive suites on top need to be doubled in order to book more suites and selling more champagne. As smart density is a national direction to reduce destitution, we should develop this land with excellence. We should consider the upgrade of Rogers Stadium. Adding suites above and below the current suites is not impossible to engineer. This will add exciting and valuable views. Replacing the cheapest seats with expensive suites seems fair to support the players' needs. This would expedite condo development and other landowner revenues, while prompting a renaissance of our culture's treasured Canadian artisans, finer services, and competitive sports excellence. Yaletown's chief dog daddy suggests that developers upgrade the stadium with amenities for local community gym and sauna. If you know someone who works hard or walks much, subscribe and share 3 times. Hockey players who love a good suit is a famous meme. But did you know wrinkles in a suit means a tailor does not see fit? Rumples, by the way, can be pressed out. Lapels that gape and collars with gaps means tailors are just retailers who don't really retailer. The classic cut with bespoke fit is a significant piece of Western culture, as much a part of culture as sports. A good classic quality cut suit is a centuries-old tradition that, with tailoring designers, gives a decade of staying power. Stars have guided humanity for millennia, and hockey stars too can lead fans to personal excellence. Their penchant for a good suit shows form, formality, and belief in self, and this expands our perception of the universe. We are more than our dressing style. The suit is especially serious as it's sculpted, complete, and masculine. As a cutter of cloth works to perfect completion, so too a man completes his wardrobe with one well-cut outfit that works for him. Its sculpted strength shows health and capability of a fine gentleman. Perhaps over-top players can be inspired to see quality in lifestyle over quantity. Our viaduct development opportunity, too, is to shape culture, our artisans and services with sports excellence. Directly under Dunsmuir Viaduct can be designed for dozens of 3-floor high, slim, work-live retail studios. The 1996 City Hall Work-Live Studio designation has helped dedicated craftsmen to own and succeed with equity. Our reputation we should accelerate today. Craftsmen tourist revenues from social media will motivate their mortgage payoff. The lower Canadian dollar can also accelerate this. With our trains to Falls Creek, locals can relax in this great new space for walking, talking, meeting, and eating, and shopping. This is a welcome addition to limited craft space like Granville Island, but more accessible and frequented. Services will strengthen all levels of governments in their new role with our coming AI. Our new world will need craftsmen as robots, humanoids, and self-driving cars are already here. Craftsmen with philosophies will have an opportunity for legacy and equity, something only a democracy can offer. Imagine artists, photographers, potters, glassblowers, musicians, jewelers, social media influencers, social workers, fitness gurus, and various exercise for health practitioners, all cultural contributors with a following. Resident media influencers could accelerate tourism using Skycam. Subscribe and share 3 times if you can imagine being free from your car and enjoying a beautiful day of discovery on our seawall. I personally have an interest in mentoring the success of artists and services. In any clever culture, there is pride in practicality, especially in Germany, where under Berlin's old raised train tracks, there is shelter from their rain. Great for their restaurants, bars, and nightclubs. Under our aqueduct, we could have similar, as well as share our history. But just add pickleball, wildlife ponds, and dog parks. Ingenious real estate retailers could also have above them, for staff, 3-level work-live studios. This is key for staff loyalty and creative, successful management. This project is so city central between our 2 stations. Retailers with loyal clients would attract many by train. Those who cannot bear to part with their car would have parking during non-event nights in a 3-story lot between the viaducts on the east side. We could invite a French bakery, a nice creamery, a gentleman's pub, Yaletown's famous farm-to-table market, a specialty high nitrates farmers market, and a slow food restaurant, perhaps an art gallery. Our seawall is a great way to build an appetite. Arrive for your reservation and relax with a good glass and a safe, relaxed ride back to your station, and perhaps your car or Uber. If you think practical character counts, even on a rainy night, subscribe and share with 3 others, and it's like a vote for Vancouver history, adding character and talent to our Concord Pacific's class project. Northeast Falls Creek for housing renewal between 2 train stations is very smart density. With committed artist talent to retail and a community center with Viaduct Parkway, will be a destination that prompts the sought-after revival of Chinatown. By 2029, a relaxed ride from the Langley SkyTrain will augment the project's retail success. This grassroots housing project can outdo New York's High Line and more practical than Seattle's plan to add a parkway on their downtown freeway. With our lower Canadian dollar, this lemonade turnaround would be a tourist attraction. I challenge Mr. Trump to showcase this to U.S. cities in good faith as a post-pandemic example of creative Canadian frugality. This unprecedented land bridge could be one of the world's best uses of viaducts as infrastructure. Vancouver is hosting FIFA for 7 gaming events for $570 million. As this is our tax invested, to be prudent, we then need a longer-term payback plan. Many cities bid billions for cash events, but put taxpayers on the line for decades. Creating character condos between the 2 stations and between our downtown east side and luxury towers will support tax payback. Without a city plebiscite, spending $300 million to demolish the viaducts is highly frustrating to generations of taxpayers. Let's think twice on wasting this near-perfect infrastructure and upgrading our viaducts' usefulness. Subscribe and let's turn this parking lot into a paradise. By adding condos between these viaducts, we can create a buffer with concrete character, also separating our compromised downtown east side and new proposed luxury Concord condos. Here between 2 stations, we can express our culture with talented, fine artists, good services, earnest first-time homebuyers, and well-experienced downsizers that could help mentor this new microculture. But infrastructure alone does not delegate a culture's soul, but socialization, community, and history does. As a tailoring designer, I see success is a good community image. It comes from an attitude and an outfit fit to go out. It's a philosophy to address one's mind, to respect others, to respect themselves. If it's what's inside that counts, don't be insipid and turn your good inside to the outside. Let's make 2-bedroom homes affordably for that lovely dog option. Let's not waste $300 million. Subscribe and share thrice to Ask Concord Pacific to give an opportunity for the talented and hard workers for a good life in beautiful Vancouver. Let's support Concord to be that beautiful community builder. I would love to have the blessings of our local chief for a sweat lodge. This was traditionally used to resolve disputes among tribal leaders, something many of today's desktop warriors, when accused of tribalism, would consider. Some conflicts were buffered when world leaders enrolled their children together in schools. Einstein said problems cannot be solved with the same thinking that created those problems. After hot and cold therapy, our hearts and guts relax to reproduce serotonin that helps build neuropods that travel our vagus nerve from the gut to the brain. Serotonin supports serenity. This supports microglial brain growth, a type of memory that allows suspension of disbelief and more intelligence and creativity. Einstein's brain found to have unusually large glial cells. Saunas and cold showers provide for stronger hearts and minds. A great leader's legacy is validated by stepping aside to be an honored mentor rather than a stereotypical male dominator. This newest part of the brain, between the limbic brain, is belief. That is the end of thinking, and the cortex for often redundant intelligence. Science, I imagine, will be telling us more about peace of mind and the sweat lodge as a way to think outside the box, to succeed in some agreement for shorter suffering and ignorance of the people that deserve the truth. For those that show an interest, perhaps the best place to work out a really great deal is not always in the boardroom.
We build a city, we build a city. With faith in the middle, we'll do well. We build a city, we build a city. A little faith in the middle, we will tell.